Hi, I'm with the Chinese International News. My name is Yi Yang. I'm here today at the Museum of Fine Arts in Houston. We are showing a very hot and popular trailer that is filmed in Taiwan. It is called Cape No.7. Why don't you come and watch it?
More news coverage about this film. As you may know, there are two major tasks of my office. The first one is to accelerate the better understanding, even appreciate Taiwanese culture here among the American public. And the second is we would like to do our best to establish a platform between our media friends and their news resources like Houston Museum of Fine Arts.
I want to welcome you on behalf of the Director of the Museum of Fine Arts Houston, Dr. Peter Marzio, to join us today. And thank you for spending time. And I want to thank Mr. Lee and Ms. Chan for working with us to create an event to draw attention to a very special film that we are showing here at the museum at the end of this month. I hope that you are already aware that the museum has a long-standing commitment to showing the best of classic and contemporary world cinema, and along those lines we have worked with Mr. Lee and his colleagues in their office to present classic Taiwanese films and contemporary Taiwanese films over many years, including the films of Ho Xiaoshen, Edward Yang, Ang Lee, and many others. They brought to my attention the opportunity to screen Cape No.7, and what's particularly special about this is that we are showing it in our theater in the original format that it was shown in theaters in Taiwan and around the world and in festivals on 35mm, and that is really a hallmark of what we like to do, is to present films in the theater in their original format, in their original language with English subtitles. I also wanted to be sure you were all aware that through your presence today, we are actually putting you on the complimentary guest list for either of the screenings here on July 30th or 31st. And we can provide information. If I haven't given my card to some of you, I'm glad to do so at the end of the luncheon, so that you can come with a guest and see the film as our guest and experience how wonderful it is to see a movie in our theater. We've already distributed, and we have more copies of our current film calendar. What I wanted to point out about that is that Cape No.7 is among many excellent films that we are showing here this summer, and to put it in context, the museum has a long-standing commitment to responding to Houston's diversity in our population by showing films from all over the world, both recent films, such as this one that we're talking about today, and classic films.
I should clarify, I'm not exactly a specialist in Taiwanese cinema. I teach film history at the University of Houston, but being Taiwanese American, I do have a long love and interest in Taiwanese film. I think for most people, when they think of Taiwanese cinema, anyone outside of Taiwan, when they think of Taiwanese cinema, they think of the artistic directors like Ho Xiaoshen and Tai Ming-lan that Marion just mentioned, or perhaps they think of some other more recent directors who have been very successful in the West, such as Ang Lee, who really has lived in the U.S. for a very long time and works mostly in Hollywood, or Edward Yang, the late Edward Yang, who also spent a great deal of time in the U.S. And while those directors have been wonderful at sort of disseminating the name of Taiwanese film throughout the world, of course, the problem with that is that those directors, their films have not really reflected what has dominated the box office in Taiwan itself. In Taiwan, as some of you may know, the most popular films tend to be highly commercial films that are directed towards often to a youth audience. They're characterized mostly by romantic melodramas or action films that are produced either locally or, as is increasingly the case in Taiwan, as in so many countries, by import films from other places in Asia, particularly Hong Kong and Japan, or also from the U.S., from Hollywood films as well. So I think for any person watching Taiwanese film or world film in general, what's been so fascinating about the success, the tremendous success of CapeNo.7 is what it says about the possibilities of the future of Taiwanese cinema in terms of the extraordinary popularity that it's enjoyed at home as a local production. And I think the success of CapeNo.7 must be understood in terms of that as a profoundly local, indigenous film whose commitment really is to trying to tell the story of Taiwan.
当然都有可能。那个傅小姐，你有没有要访问那个？啊，要不要？因为他12点半有事情要先走。好。要问那个浪子，是问那个猫王浪子，还是问他吗？问他。那是在外面问。好。
大家好，这是休斯顿中文国际电视台，我是杨依依。今天我在休斯顿的博物馆采访 Marianne。Hi Marianne, how are you today?
I'm great. Nice to see you.
Nice meeting you. So what is your position at the Museum of Fine Arts in Houston?
My title is Curator of Film and Video.
他说他是博物馆的影视的film 的 director。然后so you said that the CapeNo.7 is going to be shown here in the museum, right?
It is. We show movies here all the time, and we're showing CapeNo.7 in 35 millimeter on July 30th and 31st a little bit earlier and buy tickets on site, or they can buy them online, and our website is www.mfah.org.
Thank you. 如果你想买票来看这部电影的话，票是7块钱。大人是7块钱，然后呢，小孩和老人呢是6块钱。你可以去网上去print out 这个 ticket， 然后带来，你可以早点来就可以拿好的 seats。Thank you, Marianne.